So I'm Her Majesty's representative here in the West Midlands. So I come from Henry VIII down to Queen Elizabeth II, of course. In fact, because I'm very young, because the West Midlands is only 48. So as you can see, I'm not 475 years old. So I have the great privilege of representing Her Majesty in the West Midlands, which obviously is the second largest lieutenancy, nearly 3 million people. So as you were rightly saying, I'm quite busy at the moment, and also with the Commonwealth Games as well. So I now and again get the privilege of having plaques to have my name on. I've done 2 this week, actually, so it's just unusual to have my name scattered around West Midlands, but it's very, so I'm delighted to be here. And actually, a serious comment, a support centre like we've been hearing from Claire, a support centre which is to support vulnerable children, vulnerable young adults, and making a real effort to reach out to the disability community is, of course, exactly what we need at the moment, isn't it? If there was a more pressing need today, I'd be interested to hear it. And so to gather together on a morning like this and to applaud what's being done here is exactly what we should be doing. So first of all, I would like to congratulate you. I think it's absolutely fantastic. And in my role, my age, my great age, my 475 years, what I've seen, and you're all too young probably to have realised it, that from the early 1970s, actually when I started work, on a bad day, I think the two things are connected. The West Midlands went into economic decline. We started to lose all our manufacturing base. Year on year, for 40 years, our GVA was less than the year before, which is an appalling statistic for 40 years. So leaving behind all the challenges that we now recognise, and some of the poorest wards in Europe are in our region. And of course, at the end of that 40 years, you're coming up to sort of late 2010s and noughts. We just began to find some new services, professional services, digital services, technology, cultural sector, Wolverhampton Wanderers, just beginning to put us out of that recession. And then we had the global financial crisis. And then we had that new word in our lexicon, austerity, which actually is very relevant to here. Because in many ways, when I talk to chief execs around the region, they're saying that the consequence of austerity, the cuts in public sector spending, particularly with local authorities, is only now really, really, really beginning to hurt. It's hurt the whole time, but of course they've been cutting that. So we're seeing more and more children, young adults at risk. So I was with the chief executive, I better not say, one of the Metropolitan Boroughs last night, who was looking very worn. He said 1 in 13 of the children in his Metropolitan Borough were considered to be at risk. And not only were the numbers going up, but they were going up like that as well. So what's happening here is absolutely vital. And these words we hear, I'll be careful because I'm representing Her Majesty, but the words we hear like levelling up and reaching out to those who have been left behind, they're in danger of being empty words, aren't they? Unless someone is actually doing something about it. When I think of my own children, I wrote these words down on the way here. I think I've been lucky to have a strong family, but for them, I wanted stability, I wanted opportunity, I wanted aspiration, I wanted security and health. Above all, I wanted mobility, really, that ability to move on through life, and that's what's not happening. So that's exactly what you're here to do. And I could not resist your invitation because I wanted to come here and say just that. So finally, progress brilliantly shows a name, isn't it? Fantastic. So obviously recognise what Val has done, her inspiration and her determination, matched with what I knew from other people, but actually seen today. Inspiration is one thing, isn't it? But finding practical solutions to practical everyday problems is what really matters. And I guess just lastly, picking up on what you said through there, Claire, if we all learned lots of things from the pandemic, and we talked about some of them outside there, the terrific things that people did. But for me, if there was one lesson, it's to invest in prevention, not cure. And that's exactly, of course, we had the vaccine beforehand, and it just shows what can be done. And what you're doing is investing in prevention, and that's what needs to be done, rather than waiting until it's all gone wrong and then trying to patch it all up. So absolutely applaud you. Congratulations. I'm thrilled to be here. And a round of applause.